Charlie Bodnick here with head coach Shawn Nelson for the Pita Pit pregame. First off, Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Now, Coach, last night you guys beat Western New Mexico, had a great team win last night, and now you're playing New Mexico Highlands tonight. How are you going to carry that momentum over?
We just got to start with defense again. I know I sound like a broken record, but I don't think we played particularly well on defense last night. I thought we gave them a lot of open looks, and we just didn't have that same energy and that we have had up until last night. But that's where it's going to start with us. We're going to have to play defense. We're going to have to grind it out and run our stuff a lot better than we did last night, and do our best to get a win.
And with New Mexico Highlands, last year played them, and it was a really good game, really. How are you strategizing for this team?
Well, when we go to work during the week, we just focus on our Friday night opponent, and then the assistant coaches work on the Saturday night opponent, and we really just try to focus on one game at a time. So we met this morning and went over what we want to try to do against New Mexico Highlands, and so we have a little game plan in place on how we want to defend them. I know that they have a couple people that can really shoot the basketball. And the one thing I'm going to say about them is their record is so deceiving, because we've watched a ton of games on them, and they're up on people in fourth quarters, and they've lost a lot of close games. And this is a team that makes me really nervous, because if we don't come out and we don't come out defensively and we don't come out and shut them down, they're in the game, they're going to think they can win it.
And kind of like going off of that, with the RMAC, no matter what seeding you are, you really have to get ready for each team. How nice is it to have such a competitive league?
I think it's good. I mean, it's super stressful, and there's a lot of good teams that they get beat, and it's a tough league. Yeah, you have 16 teams in this league, and I mean there's like 11 that can still go to the playoffs, and you have to bring it every night. We found that out the hard way the weekend we played Shadron and Regis. As it turns out, both of those teams are having great years too. So at that point, maybe we didn't play well, but they were also really, really good. So we got to just focus on tonight and do whatever we have to do to get through it and get a win.
And like you said, with New Mexico Highlands, you guys match up pretty well with them tonight. Really, what are you looking, and what is really going to be the X factor of tonight?
Well, I think we need a lot of people to step up overall and play better defensively, play better offensively, and we most every time you've interviewed me, you've talked about team wins and team effort, and it's got to be that tonight for sure.
And like you said last night, you said the crowd really played a factor, really got the team involved. And, how big is that? And really, do you expect it again tonight?
Well, I hope so. I mean, blackout night is always really big, and this year's blackout weekend, and that that crowd is just fun to play in that type of atmosphere. Last year I remember when we played, the student section was full with students. This year the student section was full, and half of the other side was full of students. So I thought that was really fun, listening to them going back and forth. And but it's great. I mean, when you have support, that people are out there, and they want to watch your teams play, and both teams are having success again this year. So it's exciting.
And Coach, after this game, back on the road a couple of the next 2 weekends, is home court advantage really a big thing for your team?
We're not Kansas where we're like 301 at home or something like that, but home court should be an advantage. But I think it's that's something as a coach you can only do so much. And then there's a lot that's out of your control. When you're on the road, you can, what time they eat, all the different stuff. But when you're at home, a lot of that, their families are in town. They want to go here with them and do this and do that. And a lot of that is kind of out of your control. And I don't know if that's played a factor in earlier, but really I don't even worry about that anymore, because we're 8-1 since Christmas, and hopefully after tonight we'll be 9-1 and going to Pueblo, playing for second place next Friday. So that's all I care about.
And Coach, last question. Last night you saw a lot of players step up, as for example, Mia Carter had a great game last night, and the post players played really well last night. How big of a factor will they be tonight?
Well, I think it'll be a big factor because we got to pound the ball inside against them because they don't have the size that we have. But we have to pound the ball inside and get production. You know, it's different pounding the ball inside and getting turnovers or pounding the ball inside and missing shots. We got to pound the ball inside and get production, either free throws, either points in the paint or inside outside threes. When we've played like that, we've been really, really good. When we haven't played like that, we've struggled. So we need to get back to that. I didn't think we did a great job of that last night.
There you have it. Has to be a team win tonight for head coach Shawn Nelson, the Pita Pit pregame. Coach, go get some lunch.
Sounds good. Thanks.